Hello and welcome back to Chengi's World. Ladies, I have missed you. I am so sorry I fell off grid for a bit. I just needed some time to refresh, to hit the refresh button. I had my sister over from Joburg, from South Africa, with my niece and my other sister. I was having so much fun catching up that I forgot to put aside time to really get these videos to you. And I didn't want to get fast, haphazard videos to you. I wanted to make sure that I had the best ones. For those of you who didn't follow my trip to Paris, please check me out on my Instagram. That's where all the pictures are in the highlights. Paris was a real fun trip. So I'm back here and it's a Women Ask Wednesday. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am Chengi. And you, my precious one, are my world. And I'm back again this Wednesday sharing with you a question from one of you beautiful people. So with no further ado, if you are new to this channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I record or upload a video. Okie dokie. So the question comes from Aines, A-I-N-E-S. It was a comment left on my channel. So if it's you, holler at me at Instagram and say it's me. I always like to meet the people that leave comments on my YouTube channel. So here goes. Hello, Chengi. Could you do a video about breakups? Specifically those who happen not because the relationship is bad or toxic, but because one of them has not developed feelings as strong as the other. My boyfriend just broke up with me. I'm so sorry. Because he says he likes me very, very much, but not in a I love you way. It hurts, and I think very specific type of rejection and worth doing a video on. When they like you, but they don't like you enough. Right, where are we? I think I've lost enough. I have to admit, he never lied to me, telling me he loved me, yada, yada. And I always knew I was a bit ahead of him in the scale of feelings. But I could sense that his feelings were growing and he grew more affectionate over time. But of course, in the end, only he knew how he feels better than anyone else. I am so devastated, and I know your words would help me in some way. Oh, I'm so glad that you have confidence in me. Thank you so much for this question. I really believe that it's a question that will help so many women, because dealing with the issue of heartbreak is something that every single walking, talking human being who dares to love or find love has to experience, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in dating. Heartbreak is unfortunately part of the human experience, part of the fallen experience of life. I don't believe God really created relationships to be hurtful or to be hurting, but unfortunately we are imperfect beings. So yes, of course you're completely devastated. I always say to my clients, and I'm going to ask you to do this, and every single person going through heartbreak right now, I am going to ask you to do a postmortem. I know you've been doing it, but sometimes the postmortem is sort of self-deprecating. What could I have done wrong? What could I have done better? What could I have learned? And one of the things I've learned is with women, when we go through such things, is we always somehow have a way of reflecting it on us, as though there was something that was within our power that we could have done to make this better. And I agree with you to a certain extent that this kind of rejection is a little bit harder because it's not an outright I'm not into you. It's somebody who was clearly making an effort but just didn't make it to the finish line. And sometimes that happens when the love is on and popping from day one and everybody's on the same page, and then that excitement begins to wane. And sometimes the other person struggles to find that feeling that they had in the beginning. And sometimes it happens straight off, where a man or a woman, you know, were just in a place where they're open to finding love, or desperate, or in a state of mind where they were like, I'm not going to be choosy, I'm not going to be picky, and then they meet you and they really like you and they love your energy and they love everything about you, and you are the woman he should fall in love with. You are the woman he can take home to mama. You're the woman that ticks all the boxes, but somewhere deep down there is no attraction. The chemistry is just not popping for him. And of course, because he seems like a decent enough guy to have actually had the conversation with you, because most guys would just ghost you, but he seems to be a good guy to have said to you, look, I like you very much, I'm attracted to your energy, and I'm attracted to your mind, I'm attracted, I approve you as a person, but I just am not in that, I can't see myself going in that direction. And I want you to reflect upon it as somebody being kind and respecting your time. There's so many men who never do that, and they waste a woman's time, and she gets past the years where she could have made something of that situation in her life. And that is so very cruel, because if he had hung around trying to build these emotions and then never came, then what was going to happen eventually, inevitably, was another woman was going to come onto the scene, was going to captivate his imagination, and you were going to be dumped for another woman anyway, because he was always looking for something that he just could not find in the chemistry that you guys had. And your need to have your scale, your emotions met at that level could have only ever made him not want to be with you anymore. But it seems to me like he really was trying to make an effort in this relationship. He really wanted to be in a situation with you where he was authentic and he was real and he was showing up, and he just wasn't able to do that. I want you to take that as a compliment. I want you, ladies, anytime a man has the guts and the courtesy to announce his lack of emotions, really, 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 really respect that guy, because it takes a lot to be able to say to somebody, look, I don't want to, because what that statement is saying is, I do not want to waste your time. What that statement is saying is, you are valuable. What that statement is saying is, I don't want to waste your time so that you don't find somebody who will truly be on par with you. Now, a lot of what we do in life, and we've all done it, hands up, I've done it, where you are a great girl and you just, you haven't done anything wrong, but you are really into some guy, and you can tell that this is not reciprocal. Now, this is a rule that I carry in life, a principle that I carry in life, and that governs my personal life, is that every relationship I am in must be equally synergetic. It must be equally, there must be a clear sense of, synchronicity. There must be a clear sense of reciprocity. I'm trying to find the word, sorry. My vocab is sort of run out the window. Okay, but the point I'm making is mutually beneficial. I must be on par with you, whether it's business or whether it's friendship with other women or dating and romance. Is I must always at all points feel that we're on the same page. We want it equally. Whenever you are in a situation with somebody that doesn't want it equally as much as you do, and you want it more than they do, you are usually fighting a losing battle. And what one should do in that situation, you only have, I believe, two things that you can do in that situation, is to really, really pull back. Really pull back, further back than they have pulled back, if that makes sense, is to mirror them. Because their actions, especially with men, their actions are actually speaking really louder than their words. Their actions are saying, look, I am not feeling you as much as you do. And so I believe that by stepping back and giving that man space, ladies, space is the greatest gift you can give to a relationship, and the greatest gift you can give to a man who is not quite sure, who is present but wants that maybe you feel that the attraction is not as it used to be, because proximity is enemy to chemistry. So whenever we pull away and give distance, it speaks of us being truly high value. Nobody wants to be needed as much as they want to be wanted, so when you pull away, you show that person that you want them, but you don't need them to survive, but you really do desire them and you really do want them in your life. So if you are in that sort of situation, the idea here is to truly pull away, but not in a game playing kind of way. Pulling away in a way to redirect your energies, okay, to something else or to someone else in some instances. If there has been no commitment made, if he hasn't professed his intentions, and if you're not in a stable relationship and you're not in a courtship and you're just simply dating, it's important for you to date other people. It's important for you to step out of your comfort zone and go on dates with other people, meet other people, and that in itself will signal to him. It's like men can smell the presence of another man in your life. They can sense the smell of competition. And unfortunately, the way we're built psychologically is this is nothing unless somebody else wants it. It's a shame. It's just how it is. It's valuable, but unless other people want it, it's even more valuable. So always presenting as that high value person that other men out here want me. Now, I am not closing myself off. Whenever somebody is lukewarm or closed off to you, what they're really saying is that they feel you're an option. And so it is completely okay for that to be the case as long as they're an option too. And so with you in this situation, I would have by now stepped away, so that what would have naturally happened is either he will pull forward and pursue you again because his attraction has come back, or he would have, you would have not felt so heartbroken because you'd have given yourself the distance and the time to detach yourself from him. But one thing that I will say is, now that it is done and he's clear that it's not you he wants, sometimes it's not even to do with you or the fact that he doesn't love you, but he might actually have other issues that are way deeper than you could even begin to understand or perceive. Sometimes people are not going to tell you that they're struggling with their sexuality. They're not going to tell you that they're struggling with childhood situations, family situations. It's just easier sometimes to give that kind of answer. And I'm not saying any of these things are the case. We have to take everything that he said as face value, but it's really about realizing that, there are other things sometimes that people won't articulate, that are just not for public consumption in the same way. So for me, it's just about sort of really being gracious and being okay and saying, look, it just wasn't meant for me. And I want you to know something about us as women and how we are wired is we are capable of falling in love multiple times. We truly have the capacity to fall in love with somebody and fall in love with somebody else and fall in love with somebody else and wonder, what was I doing with the other guy, even though you were completely in love with him. That is the wonder of being a woman. We're able to reproduce that feeling for somebody else over and over and over again. So whilst that might not be a comfort to you right now, know that the way you feel about this guy, you can feel it again for somebody else if you would open your heart to the possibility. And one of the things that I always say to my clients and to my friends and to everybody and anybody who would listen to me, which is all of you beautiful people, is that whatever we don't apprehend in life, wherever we make a loss in life, what we have actually done is gained a lesson. And what is important is that we truly understand what that lesson was for us, to us, and through us, so that we can be ready for stage 2 of whatever process that we have to go through to find that which we need to find. So if you don't learn the lesson from this situation, then you won't be able to apprehend that thing that is after, because the truth is we're not always ready for our final stop. Sometimes these are pit stops that refine us and tune us and speak to us and sort of fine tune us so we are ready when that guy comes along. We're ready. We know what we're reading for. We know the energy that we're putting out. We know what we're prepared to tolerate. We remember the pain of being in a relationship with somebody who was half-hearted. So when we find ourselves in a situation where we're more attracted to somebody and they are lukewarm about us, then we know to keep that moving. We know to shift that energy. We know to pull away and look after ourselves, because the pulling away is really about looking after your soul and saying, I don't want to feel this way and I don't want to be here. I need to look after the person within. So pulling away for us as women is not a rejection of a man as much as it is accepting that there is an inner being that needs to be protected. The Bible says, guard your heart, for from it flows the issues of life. Our ability to guard your heart as a woman and as a man too is a primary if you're going to enter into the dating relationship world. So there is a lesson in this for you, and that is that you should measure and make sure that that anyone you meet, because there's nothing more satisfying, more fulfilling, more euphoric than being in a relationship with somebody who feels exactly the same way that you feel about them, who's as enthusiastic about you, as excited about you, who wants the same things as you. And I want you to know that you deserve that. And that God knew that you wouldn't close the door on that, so he did it for you. You know, sometimes because God knows better than us, because God sees further than us, he will shut doors that he knows that you wouldn't have shut. You would have probably tried to, become the performing monkey to make sure that he can see you in some sort of light. And what if I showed him that I'm really clever? What if I showed him I can do this? And we become the performing monkey. And God is like, no. I've got something better for you. I've got a better situation that you don't have to perform for, where your authentic, natural, developed and evolved self is just going to be more than enough for somebody who's just going to adore you and adore everything about you and not find reasons to criticize you. So you, my precious one, are beautiful. I know you are. I know you are smart. I know you're amazing. And do not ever sell yourself short for love that comes in portions. Okay, if it can't come whole, then you that's not going to work for you. And respect that guy that is good enough to be honest with you and just let you know how it is for him. And you, my dear, have had the perfect ending. As much as that sucks, sometimes that is a perfect ending. And I always say that the success of a relationship is not on how long it lasts, the longevity of it. It is the quality of what you were able to enjoy even in that small season. And if you had a few laughs with him and you had a good time with him and some cherished moments with him, celebrate that. Celebrate love. Don't worry about how long it lasted. And that's where we usually get heartbroken, because we're really grieving the longevity of what we're not able to have. But I know that love is coming your way quick, fast, and in a hurry. Keep me posted. Love you lots. Take care of you.